So for our department in law and government relations, we have two priorities along with all of the other issues relating to advertising and marketing. But those two priorities fall in the area of privacy and taxes on advertising.
So tell us, let me ask you about privacy. So
Sure.
there's a lot of data that's available. There's a lot of initiatives on the state level. It's kind of so many moving parts. From your perspective, what's the state of privacy regulation and where do you hope it goes?
Sure. Well, right now the privacy debate is top of mind for a lot of legislators, certainly a lot of folks within the advertising and marketing industry. And at the ANA, we're leading the charge to push for a standard national data privacy law that is privacy protective for individuals, but still workable for the advertising and marketing industry. And that's one of our main objectives in Congress, is to push for that common sense privacy law that's workable for everyone.
Now, we hear a lot about first-party data, and a lot of the companies here have a rich trove of first-party data. And the question is how to use it, what to do, what not to do. We hear a lot about interoperability of data and clean rooms, and what's happening with first-party data, and where might that be going?
Well, you know, the advertising and marketing industry for years, going all the way back, has respected consumers' privacy. And the notion of going forth and using data responsibly for responsible advertising is one that the ANA has championed. And as we go now with additional technology and new uses of data, our watchword is to make sure that we're being privacy protective, but doing it in such a way that benefits the consumer.
From a regulatory standpoint, what's going on around privacy in terms of the administration and things that are happening?
Yeah, so just earlier this year, we were very pleased to see one of the privacy bills advance out of congressional committee. That's the ADPPA. And we were very pleased to see Congress actually move on a nationwide privacy standard. Unfortunately, that didn't make it all the way across the finish line, and there's still some rough edges within that legislation that we're working on with Congress, but we're very optimistic next year that we will, in the new Congress, finally get a nationwide data privacy standard into law, enacted into law, on the federal level. On the state level, we're seeing a lot of states push forth with their own state data privacy law. And we have about a half dozen states right now who have passed their own laws, and they're in the various areas of implementing those laws with regulations. Unfortunately, the concern there is, you know, we can't have 50 different state privacy laws and hope to do a good job of protecting individuals' privacies, and it makes it very difficult for companies to comply, especially advertisers. So that's why we're making it a priority to push for a nationwide privacy law that is workable, again, for the industry and advertisers, but is protective of individual privacy.
Finally, Chris, tell us about the tax issue. We don't really talk about it much in the media, but what is the tax issue that's important to your membership?
Sure, you bet. You know, for years and years, there has been this notion of, well, we can tax advertising, and the way we look at it at the ANA is, it doesn't matter if you've built the better pencil if you can't tell anybody about it. We look at advertising as part of the cost of goods sold, if you will. It's a business input, and advertising and marketing is captured at, you know, the end tax level. What we saw just last year in the last biennium is we saw a state of Maryland, actually tax digital advertising revenues. And so the ANA, along with other companies and other industry trade associations, jumped in, and we actually, as the legislation was moving through the legislature in Annapolis, we were able to get that bill vetoed by the governor, but the legislature overrode the veto. Following that, there was legislation that challenged the law, and just recently the advertising industry was successful in overturning that law because it was found to be unconstitutional and violative of federal statute. So, it's one of those areas that we keep a very close eye on attempts to tax advertising because, again, it's not necessary. It violates a lot of tax principles of pyramiding and things like that. But that's an issue that we're always engaged on, keeping a sharp eye for attempts to tax the industry.